There are moments when the world feels unbearably heavy, when prayers echo back in silence, when every effort collapses under its own weight, and when hope flickers like a dying flame. You cry out, "God, why me?" But heaven stays still. You reach for clarity and find only confusion. You reach for peace and touch chaos instead. It is in those moments when your faith is pressed beyond comfort that God is not abandoning you, He is trusting you. The weight of silence, God's silence, has never meant His absence. When He seems quiet, it is not because He has turned His face away, but because He has placed something sacred in your hands, something He knows you can carry, though you cannot yet see why. We misunderstand divine silence as neglect, but silence is not rejection. It is refinement. When a teacher stops explaining, it's because the test has begun. God's tests are never cruel. They are deliberate. They are designed not to expose your weakness, but to reveal your strength, the strength He already saw in you before you ever doubted yourself. The test isn't to inform Him of who you are, it's to remind you of who He made you to be. The difference between testing and punishment. Mistake testing for punishment, as if pain is a divine reprimand. But God does not test to break you. He tests to trust you. Punishment looks backward, fixing what went wrong. Testing looks forward, preparing you for what's next. When God tested Abraham, He wasn't punishing him. He was preparing him to become the father of nations. When Joseph was betrayed, sold, imprisoned, and forgotten, those were not random misfortunes. They were the shaping fires of destiny. And when Jesus Himself was tested in the wilderness, it wasn't to prove His power to God. It was to prepare Him for the weight of His mission. Every divine test is a vote of confidence from heaven. If God is testing you, it means He sees in you the potential to carry something sacred that others cannot, the gift hidden. Inside the trial, the test is rarely about what it looks like. You think you're being tested by loss, rejection, loneliness, or uncertainty, but the real test lies beneath those circumstances. It's not about what you're losing, it's about who you're becoming through it. The test of loss is a test of trust. The test of waiting is a test of patience. The test of pain is a test of endurance. The test of silence is a test of faith. When God allows you to be tested, He is entrusting you with the sacred process of transformation. He knows that what you're enduring will either define you or refine you, and He believes you will choose refinement. God's trust is not light if you are being tested. It is because you are trusted. But divine trust is not comfortable. It does not come wrapped in ease or wrapped in applause. It comes wrapped in storms, in nights that feel endless, in prayers that feel unanswered. When God gives you a test, He is not testing your ability to win. He is testing your ability to stay faithful, to stay hopeful, to stay grounded when everything within you wants to give up. Because only those who remain through the storm are ready to receive the sunrise, the furnace, and the gold. Gold is not proven by being displayed, it's proven by being placed into fire. The fire does not make gold valuable. It reveals that it already was. So it is with your soul. When you walk through fire, you are not being destroyed. You are being refined into something purer, stronger, and more radiant. If God allowed you into the furnace, it's because He knows there's gold within you, and fire is the only way to bring it out. The test, then, is an act of trust. He trusts that you will not let the heat define you, but allow it to shape you into His reflection. Trusting the hand that tests you when you cannot understand what God is doing. Trust who He is. His tests may feel harsh, but His heart is gentle. He knows every tear before it falls, every fear before it speaks, every night before it breaks into dawn. He does not test to see you fail. He tests because He sees you ready. Faith is not proven when you understand the plan. Faith is proven when you obey without the map, when you walk by the light of what you know about God, not by the darkness of what you don't understand. The test is the trust you ask. Why would God put me through this? Because He believes you can handle it. Because He has seen something in you that you have not yet seen in yourself. The enemy tests to destroy. God tests to deploy. Every divine test is an elevation in disguise, a promotion wrapped in pressure. If He's allowing you to be pressed, it's because there is oil in you. If He's allowing you to be shaken, it's because there's fruit ready to fall. If He's allowing you to be tested, it's because you have been chosen. The test is proof of trust. When the answer doesn't come, sometimes the hardest test is waiting for an answer that doesn't seem to come. But silence is part of the curriculum, because faith isn't formed in clarity, it's forged in confusion. When you can't trace His hand, trust His heart. When you can't hear His voice, remember His promises. And when you can't feel His presence, believe His word. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Waiting is not punishment. It's participation in divine timing, the breaking point and the turning point. Every test has a moment when you feel you can't go on. That moment, the breaking point, is where the real transformation begins. Because the breaking point is also the turning point. When you've exhausted every strength and all that's left is surrender. That's when you pass the test, not by conquering, but by yielding, not by controlling, but by trusting. You were never meant to carry the test alone. The one who gave it walks through it with you. The hidden graduation. There are no divine tests without divine purpose. Every test you pass brings a quiet graduation, not into comfort, but into calling. You don't always get a certificate, but you get a crown of understanding, compassion, and unshakable faith. After the test, you begin to move differently. You pray with authority. You love with patience. You walk with peace that can't be explained, only experienced. That's what happens when God trusts you enough to test you. He matures your soul for something greater than you imagined. When the test becomes a testimony one day, what feels unbearable now will become your testimony. The pain that once broke, you will become the words that heal others, and the silence that once tormented you will become the wisdom that guides the lost. The very thing that tested you will become the tool that God uses through you, because tests turn into testimonies when you refuse to quit. Faith doesn't erase the struggle, it redeems it. God's tests always lead to transformation. Every divine test carries an invisible assignment. Transformation. Not everything that happens to you is good, but everything that happens through you can be. When you choose trust over fear, surrender over control, and patience over panic, you pass from merely surviving into truly becoming. Transformation doesn't begin when the test ends. It begins the moment you decide to trust Him in it. Trusting God with the outcome. You are not responsible for the outcome only for your obedience. When God tests you, the result is His business. The response is yours. Sometimes you will fail the test in your eyes but pass it in His, because God does not grade your performance. He measures your posture, a heart that leans toward Him. Even trembling is still a heart that trusts, so don't fear the outcome. Trust the one who oversees it. The test of trust itself, faith doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in contradiction, in the tension between what you see and what you believe. When everything looks like loss, but you still choose to praise Him, that's faith. When everything screams give up, but you whisper, God, I trust you, that's victory. When you're tested and you keep standing, not because you're strong, but because you know He is, that's what trust looks like. That's the test that redefines who you are. You were never alone in the test, even when you didn't see Him. He was there, not watching from a distance, but walking beside you. He didn't just allow the test. He shared it. He carried the part you couldn't carry. He guided you through the chaos you couldn't calm. Every tear you shed became evidence of His grace. Every step you took through the pain became proof that He was faithful. When God tests you, He's not asking if you'll succeed. He's asking if you'll trust. The final lesson: when God tests you, He's trusting you, trusting that you will discover what He already knows, that you are stronger than your fears, wiser than your pain, and closer to His heart than you realize. The test was never meant to crush you, it was meant to crown you. Because faith doesn't mean escaping trials. It means understanding that even in the fire, you're being shaped by the hand of a faithful God. And when you walk out of it, refined and radiant, heaven smiles, because the test has revealed what God always knew. You are ready,